So today we're going to replace the screen on an Thinkpad X260. My porch swing fell, the chain hit it, and the board hit my head. So it's broken. This model, well, the first thing to do is turn it off. This model has two batteries in it, an internal and an external. I let it run until the internal battery, which drains first, at least under Linux. I'm not a professional, so take the advice with that. But it drains first, so I let it run for a while to kill that battery, so it shouldn't have a charge. And then the second battery is an external. You can just, with your index fingers, do this, and four pointers do that. Take out the external battery. I have a small Phillips head screwdriver, and there are 8 screws. They're self-catching, so they don't come out. You just kind of unscrew them until it feels like you're not feeling any resistance. And you can go from there. Yeah, an important thing to remember is that with none of the steps we're going to be going through, you shouldn't feel like you're forcing anything. There's little clips, but those can be snapped out with a minor bit of pressure from a small Phillips head screwdriver. But nothing should snap. Little things here and there you'll hear. But you really shouldn't be forcing or really going at it with anything. Gentle pressure is really all of this needs. So like I said, there's 8 screws. Don't forget this one in the middle, like I always do. And then what you do is a small flathead screwdriver. You just bring it up. There'll be little little spaces that you can kind of wedge this in along the front here. And like I said, just kind of press down and up, like you're pushing up towards where the keyboard and the screen currently are right now. Just gentle pressure push, work your screwdriver down. Remember, don't force it. If you feel a little bit of pressure, kind of push a little bit harder up to release the clip. And they just pop right out. So, and then once the front's up, you can kind of just use your fingers or the screwdriver to continue all the way around. I always find the back gives me a little bit of trouble. So I get my screwdriver in there again, and just gentle pressure. It comes back like this. There's these little clips in back that you can, same idea, gentle pressure with your screwdriver, down and away from you. Down and away from you, and they pop right out. Quick tour. Here are some of your ports: cooling fan, memory. This is that internal battery I mentioned. Hard drive, dock port. This is a Wi-Fi card, and this is a spot for a potential cellular modem. The SD card port. Here, this is where the external battery goes in, and this is where the external battery clips in. This here is the port for the internal connector for the display. We'll need to just put our finger on there and just lift it up. Yeah. It shouldn't require too much force, but it is seated in there. A little bit of tape, pull that out, undo this. It's threaded through here, so just take your time. A little bit more tape, take that, set it to the side. And then we'll just have this dangling out. This is the Wi-Fi, and then these cables are for that potential cellular modem. There's these little pieces of black tape holding in service loops for the cables going to the antenna for those 2 devices. So we'll pop those out with our small flathead screwdriver and then pop out the service loop. Ditto for the other side here. Remove the little bit of tape. Use the screwdriver to pop out that service loop and kind of thread it through from underneath, put the tape over here, underneath this other little piece. And then these are the hinge screws. There would be 6 of them. The one on your left, assuming the back of the laptop is pointed to you, looks like an L, and the one on the right is a little rectangle. So these 6 screws, they come out completely, and they can just be set to the side. There we go. Yeah, these will be the go. Let's quickly remove those. There we go. And then this is the main hinge. And as you can see, it's really hard to move, a lot of tension to hold up the screen. So what I do is I kind of just grab the bottom of the keyboard, hold it, and just open it up like that. It'll kind of fall, just be careful, go slowly, you'll be fine. And then I just pull these back a little more. Make sure no wires are being pulled or caught behind the hinges as you move them. You don't want to rip or break those. These further to the side. And we'll spin the laptop like this. And again, make sure you don't have any wires being caught on the hinges as you do this. It's a little tight, but it'll work. At least it does for me. There we go. So now the screen is out. We'll switch back to our little flathead screwdriver. And you'll be doing the same thing you did with the bottom here. Remember, just gentle pressure down and up. And right inside the corners, there is one of these bigger clips, so you can just do that. You just push it. And then again, just go all the way around slowly, using the screwdriver to wedge and push down and up just a little bit, gentle pressure. Yeah, same on the sides, just down and over. Yeah, just slowly work around with the little flathead screwdriver. Yeah, and then you'll see the very bottom corner here pop up. You do the same thing for this. Down, and this on this side, towards you. Down and towards you. Just work the screwdriver down. There we go. And then got the corner pop up. And then down here, on mine you can actually kind of see where those little clips are. And the same thing, just down and up to kind of pull the bezel up away from the screen's case. There we go. There we go. Okay, and the bezel comes off. The first time I did that, had a little bit of trouble just trying to get it, that it was like clipped in here a little more tightly than it just was. A little bit of gentle pressure, a little bit of working with the screwdriver. As you can see, there's a circuitry right here, so you can't go back too far, but there's a bit of plastic protecting it at some of these junctions. So just a little bit of pressure, a little bit of pulling, nothing major, and that pops right out. And then with the flathead screwdriver, you can lift out the screen. We'll turn it over and we'll see the connector right here. It has tape over it, so we'll use the screwdriver or your nails. I don't really have fingernails, so I use the screwdriver for a lot of things. Yeah, just lift that tape right. Yeah. Yeah, and then just you can kind of, yeah, hold on. The tape is still a little stuck in here. There we go. You pull it away from the top of the screen here. You don't necessarily need to pull it off of the cord, just off of the screen itself. There we go. And then you can just pull this underneath the tape. There's a little metal clip. You just screwdriver under it a little bit. Once I get the screen off, I'll bring it up there to show you this little clip. Yeah, and just pull the little clip up, and then that comes right out. You can see what I mean, like right here. This little clip, and that's right around the part on the screen. Screwdriver right under it, comes right up. Again, gentle pressure. So this is our old one, and this is our new one. Nice and clean. Here's the connector. We'll leave this on until we get this in. And with this, the reverse process. We push it in till it clicks all the way in. That little metal clip we can push down with our flathead so that it's around the connector. And then we can just press that tape back. Flip the screen over here. There we go. And the screen over. Yeah, the tape holding on the protective cover goes to the back here, so that needs to be removed first. Just do that. Now we'll lay it down. Get our first glimpse of this new screen. Looks good. Don't notice any problems with it physically. So we'll just let this come and sit back down into the body of the screen here. And once it looks flat, we grab the bezel. This is the cord going up to the screen here. Make sure that it is, there's a little plastic path that it can follow up through here. Make sure it's seated in there so that it doesn't get pinched when the bezel gets put back on here. Yeah. Pinch cables. And we're pressing around the screen here. There shouldn't be any gaps. The body, the bevel, should be not flush, but sitting right on the screen itself. There shouldn't be any gaps or anything substantial. And if there are, you can just press around it. And once you're happy that there aren't, we can, again, just pretty much go in reverse of what we did. Swing this around. Swing this around, making sure that we don't get any of the cords caught in the way of the hinge as we maneuver the body back around into the front here. We can just set that down. And there will be little cutouts where those hinges go. And just move it right down until, just up. Just wiggle it in. And then we can press these hinges down. Each of these sides has a little pin that the metal for the hinge sits in, so just that'll help you get it aligned. And again, as you're doing this, the cords need to be out of the way. So what that means for me on this side here on the right, it's got to push the hinge down a little bit and work this one cord up around it so that it doesn't get caught. And once those are seated, we switch to our small Phillips heads. And then we can put them back in. The astute viewer realized that I put the screws originally on this side on that side. That doesn't matter. They're all the same size. So yeah, I'll just put those in until it doesn't move. Again, you don't have to force anything. If you're forcing something, just take a step back, get your small Phillips, small flathead. Just try to find the part of the part around you that is not seated correctly. It's just gentle pressure all the way through this process. There you go, all 6. There we go. So we have the service loops for antenna. We thread them underneath this little bit here, and then there's a little pocket, little plastic pocket that we can set them in. Make sure that they do not go into where the external battery is going to be sitting, which is right here. So just make sure they're within this little metal section, and then small bit of the tape that we had we placed right there over them to hold them in. There, that's what they did in the factory anyway. And then same thing on this side. Just the tape was still attached here. So put it into the little service loop pocket, make sure it's threaded under that metal piece. Ensure that it's not within the external battery compartment. And then we have our display, which we can thread back. It kind of shares this little catch over to the power port here. It comes over by the fan. Should come underneath the tape that's right here. And then you just align the small little connector to the small little port. Once you feel it kind of seated a little bit, just push down. Again, very gentle pressure. And that is connected again. Again, make sure that there are no wires going to be caught by the hinge. And we can take our top, put it back down. It should sit pretty well without feeling like it's being pushed up anywhere. Actually, I did that backwards. This side needs to be fastened first. So we'll put it underneath. If you remember these little clips that were right here. So just gotta kind of push down with my thumb so they snap right on. This should come down. This. Yeah, it's coming right through there. That's fine. There we go. Yeah, it should just sit on. The front here has a couple of those snaps. You can pick it up, make sure they're all in. Ditto for the sides here, just gentle pressure. It won't go completely, you'll see a little bit of a gap until you get the screws in. But yeah, you shouldn't be forcing that top back down. And then with our small Phillips head, we will put all of these screws back. And maybe just turn them until they stop and cam out. There we go. Remember the one in the center. I always forget the one in the center. There we go. Just examine it. Make sure that everything seems to be pretty tight. Yeah, make sure that's all snapped together. There are no big gaps on either the top or the bottom. Once you've done that, we can take our battery, slide it back in, turn our up around, and power it up. There we go. Brand new screen, didn't take too long, and not too complicated. That was replacing a screen on an X260 Thinkpad. Yeah, no damage. Beautiful.